Let's bring in John Iannarelli, retired FBI special agent who is the former second in command in the state of Arizona, Dan O'Shea, hostage negotiator, Navy SEAL, and Kyle Vowinkel, who we have with us as well, former FBI crisis negotiator and hostage rescue team operator. Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's great to have you with us. Kyle, let me start with you. Your reaction to this release of this videotape today.
I'm elated for the family, the Guthrie family, as well as, very proud of my law enforcement brothers and sisters who are working this case so diligently, because now we have, as all your guests have spoken about, some tangible evidence to go off of. Right, we've got the backpack, which to me shows that level of preparedness, although he's not polished. Right, this individual has a improper holster, it's improperly positioned. So I don't think this person's a professional by any means, but now we have volumes of evidence in order to follow up on, and I'm confident that with the public's assistance, we are going to find this individual.
Dan, what's your reaction when you look at this videotape? What does it tell you?
Well, as your previous guest said, and my colleague who just came on, this will be a game changer. Someone will recognize the gait, the walk, the backpack, the clothes, you can go into where that particular item was purchased, even down to the face mask, that style. So there's just a lot of information here, and I think they held this past the suspension yesterday, because had they released this earlier, the individual that we're seeing on camera, he would have had a target on his back, and he put the pressure on everyone with that 5 o'clock deadline yesterday. Now the pressure's on him. He is now going to feel the heat, because I think it's going to be coming with probably, hopefully, volumes of new calls into the hotline.
So, Dan, some people that we've spoken with think that the hostage negotiation ransom note is a separate potential hoax from this individual that we see at the door. But it sounds like you still think there's a possibility they are connected.
Well, the problem I have, if this guy was a hostage taker, he would have, at a minimum, gotten the medical. He was in the house for roughly 40 minutes, 41, 42 minutes. You've got to protect the life of the hostage. And anyone over 50, 60 years old is going to be on meds. You would have logically, again, he's got a backpack. He was prepared to take stuff out. That pack looks pretty full. You have to wonder and elaborate what was in that backpack. But so again, they're back and forth. I think the ransom demands were for a distraction to throw out a lot of, I still think they were thrown out to throw out red herrings and throw the investigation off. Because if he was really in the business of kidnap and ransom, he would have gone directly to the family from the get-go and not to the news media. So I think that there's a media play in what he was trying to do, and now it looks like it might be backfiring on him, hopefully.
So, John, we see these images, and it is one slice of that 41-minute period at least that Dan was just talking about. We also have heard about the call from Ring cameras in the other parts of the neighborhood. It's a little bit spread out, but there is a house behind them, and there's a house right across the street. Would you expect that we're going to get more video of an exit from this house as well at some point?
Martha, I suspect they probably even have that video at this time, but are holding it back for various reasons. Likewise, although there had been a canvass of the neighborhood for Ring camera and video from other sources, they may not have dug deeper like the FBI did in this case. Now they're going to be going back and looking at the technology. Even if there wasn't a subscription, there's probably information. We're going to get better pictures without the mask on. But 101 investigations, somebody knows this guy based on the appearance, the walk, the clothing. That person's going to pick up the phone, call law enforcement. We're going to get a quick resolution as a result.
John, staying with you for a moment, do you see this person as someone who is sort of meandering, not quite sure what they're doing, or as someone who has some, has some ability and has put a lot of thought into this? What's your take?
I see too many mistakes being made. Like a lot of criminals, they think they're smarter than they actually are. The mere fact that this person goes up, even though disguised, approaches a Ring camera, they're assuming it's nighttime, it's dark. Nobody's going to recognize anything. Yet those cameras get such ambient light and are able to give us great images that we're seeing here. The way the weapon is worn, as others have mentioned, those things indicate to me that this is somebody who thinks he has it all planned out, yet he does not, and he's made mistakes. It's going to lead to his capture.
Kyle, you know, in terms of what else we might pick up here, because we know that they are this forensic digital analysis. It takes time, as was pointed out by Dan Bongino moments ago. The FBI came on the case a few days in, and that's water under the bridge, unfortunately, at this point. What do you think is still out there digitally that can add to this story?
Well, I'm sure the FBI agents and local law enforcement officials have gone door to door already and have gone to local businesses collecting all the digital data they can. But now with these new images and now, body size and a body frame and the eyebrows, now the public has a lot more to go off of. So maybe now someone will possibly recognize him getting gassed or driving with a vehicle that was downloaded in the back because there was a body in the back. So to my colleague's point previously, what I like the public to be aware of is to look for those changes in behavior from the offender. Because now, the public dissemination of these images has disrupted his assumption of anonymity, right? Because before he was invisible and no one knew who he was. But now he is out there. The whole world knows who he is. So he's going to change his behavior. Reminds me of the Boston Marathon bombing when the images were released of the two bombers. They instantly changed their behavior, unfortunately, and were violent. And this same thing could happen here in this case. Hopefully it doesn't result in violence, but I would encourage the public to look for changes in behavior. If someone suddenly goes berserk and starts acting wildly different from their normal behavioral patterns because this has been released and they look like, obviously, the person in the video, then they should immediately call law enforcement or the FBI.
Yeah, we have been calling upon anybody who's looking at these images to call the FBI to let them know if this person looks familiar to you. It's a great point, Dan. We think about Luigi Mangione after the images came out, because we only saw the back of him in that original video with that firearm in the alleged murder that he is on trial for now. But once you get a little bit more of an image, like in his case, there was a drawing that showed his heavy eyebrows. So do you expect that the FBI is putting together a digital look at what this individual might look like without this mask on based on what they have?
Well, believe me, if anyone has the capability to transform a ski mask face into enough of a profile sketch, it's going to be the Bureau. And we assume that they've got more images than this. This is probably the first release, because remember, for 10 days that we were told there was no person of interest, there was no suspect, there was no video. They thought this was, quote, described as an animal may have walked by. But they didn't just get this video last night. They've been poring over this thing for the last 10 days. And hopefully they're drilling down to the granularity of specifics.
Yeah.
And again,
I just want to point out, if I may, pardon me for interrupting, but what you're seeing here on the left side is a live shot at Annie Guthrie's front door. All right, so keep this full for a moment. We know that investigators were there last night. We know that there were flashes that indicated that photos were being taken. We know, well, now they've been led into the house. And you don't know in this situation, Dan, I want to get your thoughts on this. Obviously, they want to be kept apprised of every development in this case. There was also an indication that they took some Celebrate technology in there that is used to do forensics on laptops, on phones, correct?
Correct. I'm well familiar with Celebrate. I know the reps here in Tampa that do work at SOCOM. So, yeah, I'm familiar with what the capabilities of basically scraping everything off a tablet, a cell phone, or a computer for forensic analysis.
All right. So that shot obviously is up in the sky right now. But interesting, John, that they have once again gone back to Annie Guthrie's house. What, if anything, do you make of that?
They're keeping in touch with the family. I'm sure the FBI and Sheriff's Department are getting phone calls from people already. They're letting them know that this investigation is in full swing at this point, and hopefully letting them know of any developments that they can release to a point. Obviously, the Bureau has to vet all this out, and they're not going to give away information that's still in development. But the family is an integral part of this. It's important that they are kept informed. And hopefully this is going to lead to a successful resolution for the mom. Regardless, we're going to find the subject, and he's going to be in custody.
All right, gentlemen, it's great to have you with us.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.